into the cage with Brendan Tobin in Are You Gonna Fight Me?
I'm gonna fight your ass.
Here on Tapped Out.
That's right, fight me like a man.
Only on the BetQL network.
You know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. When I tell you to break, I want you to step back up my command and break. Now go back to the corner and come out fighting at the bell.
All right, segment's called You're Gonna Fight Me, where I'm going to fight you. That is Brendan Tobin. And I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine. Alexander Volkanovski has clapped back a little bit at Bilal Muhammad. They're going after each other a little bit. You're going to fight me if I say one day Alexander Volkanovski will be UFC champion again.
I'm going to fight you on that one, man. I'm going to fight you on that one. I think that Alexander Volkanovski I think that his daring to be great is going to cost him to get back there. I just think it's going to be a tough ask. And I get it. Like if Max Holloway becomes champ, he's beaten Max Holloway before, but I don't know. You just got to think with Volk taking all these risks of fighting bigger guys and doing crazy things. Like we've seen sometimes daring to be great pays off, a la like Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. And sometimes it does not. Sometimes it, and I guess even with Conor, like it still took 2 Nate Diaz fights before he was able to become double champ. Like I'm a little worried that Volk, like taking the head kick, taking the loss to Topuria. It's good that he's taken all this time off because he had a wild 2023 /24. But I don't know, man. I definitely have my skepticism that he can get back there.
Sounds like it. But if Max is to beat Ilya, and then Max is the BMF, and then Max has the title, and then, like you said, Max has fought Volk 3 times and never beat him, does that mean we get a 4th?
Well, here's what needs to happen. If Max Holloway, and I've mentioned this on the show before, I'm sure not the only person that's mentioned this, but here's what needs to happen is if we get to Christmas and both Max Holloway and Sean O'Malley are champion, they need to fight each other. Like that needs to be the fight. And like, it just needs to happen. I know that, I'm not the guy, and I'm not the guy who's like the keenest on double champs and all that, but like that just feels too perfect to pass up based on era, based on size. I just feel like that would be an awesome matchup.
The crazy thing is that's not that crazy. We're only really 1 win away from both those guys. I don't know. I don't know if maybe O'Malley would have. First of all, I'm not sure he beats Merab. Do you think he beats Merab?
I don't know either.
I don't know either. It's tough to bet against the machine.
I'm strangely leaning Sean O'Malley. I know I'm getting dubbed as the O'Malley hater on the show. It's sensitive, but I'm leaning Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley is going to get it done. I think Max Holloway is going to beat Topuria. So I think it's going to be there for us. I think it will be there for us. But what would get in the way? Like you can't tell me, like respectfully to Umar Nurmagomedov, who just got on the scene, he can't stand in the way of a super fight like that.
Of course not. I mean, he hasn't earned it. The fans wouldn't want to see it. What if you're right and we end up seeing Max Holloway versus Sean O'Malley like a year from now? How do you think a fight would go down?
I'm still going Max. Max. Like if you're talking about just something on the feet, there's very few guys I think that can beat Max Holloway. Like you got to have a little.
Sorry to cut you off. If this happens, I'm trying to think because he would take out Topuria and he would take out O'Malley along the way. Dude, he'd be all the way up to like number 2 or 3 pound for pound, Max Holloway, and have 2 belts. That'd be insane. I mean, that'd be crazy. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that.
No, it'd be awesome. Wow. It'd be awesome. It'd be crazy.
I love me some Max Holloway. We talked about El Kakui lost his 8th straight fight earlier. He laid down 1 glove. We both agree that it's probably over for him. But ultimately, what decision do you think he makes? Do you think we end up seeing him back in the octagon? Because I actually think this is it. I think what happened today for Tony Ferguson, if you didn't see it, it was a daytime card. Fights were in Abu Dhabi. He got choked up on Michael Chiesa. At the end of the fight, Chiesa took the microphone, and then Tony Ferguson was standing in there. And usually when that happens, the guy or gal is about to retire, took his gloves off, and then he laid down 1 glove. What I genuinely think happened is he got that mic in the front of him, and he just couldn't say, I'm retiring. And he couldn't put down 2 gloves. Like, his body would not let him. And he said he's going to go back to his wife and talk about it. I think he goes home to his wife, and if she loves him, his wife goes, you should have laid down that other glove. I think he's done. You going to fight me?
I mean, he should be done. He can't win fights anymore, and he doesn't really particularly look very
Right?
competitive in these fights. He's taken some vicious losses. The loss to Michael Chandler. This was a pretty rough one to watch. Yeah, he should be done. I think the fascinating thing that he did say, and I don't know if he'll stay true to it, is that he doesn't want to fight anywhere else but the UFC. And that's an interesting thing because, like, obviously, if he leaves, BKFC is going to be calling to be like, fight Mike Perry for, a $250,000. And he'll, most guys will definitely do it. But will he? He seems like he doesn't want to fight anywhere but the UFC. But I do think that if you're the UFC, they clearly still value his name because, hell, he's fighting on the main card of an ABC. But, yeah, we're getting to like Cowboy Cerrone territory here, man. Like, you just don't want it. You don't want a guy who is that good and that dangerous to be thought of as like, man, do you remember the way that career ended? Like, it's really rough. And it's not even like Anderson Silva where it's like, oh, he had the championship forever. He has all these records. Because Kukui is like, it's all this what ifs, and then it just is now turning into this like sad ending. And yeah, he seems pretty with it. I know that he's had some, mental struggles on the outside of the cage, and there's been some things that look like they've gone awry for him. But look, he talks about trained with David Goggins the last time. That didn't work. Now this was the time where he sparred a gazillion rounds. That didn't work. Like, he's just shot. He's a shot fighter, and it is time to hang him up.
And that sucks because at one point he had won 14 straight fights. He was supposed to fight Khabib 5 separate times, kept getting screwed, always popular. But dude, you're done. Are you listening, Tony? You're done. 8 straight fights. It's probably past, at this point, Cowboy Cerrone territory. I think that he lost 7 in a row to end his career. It wasn't pretty. But yeah, when it gets like this, dude, what are you doing? We don't want to remember you like that. And at this point, it's hard to remember the old Tony. I'm being serious. I remember the guy now that I've seen the last 4 years, which has been getting beat up now, and that's a sad thing. Dana White was talking about his cash cows, John Jones, Conor McGregor. He said John would be back for sure, just a matter of time. In the case of Conor, he said, I'm not even thinking about that guy right now. If I'm Michael Chandler, I move on. I'm completely done with this, and I set up a fight as soon as possible. You gonna fight me?
It's a hard choice. Just because if you're Michael Chandler, you're so pot committed at this point. Like, I feel like I need Conor McGregor to tell me that I'm done, then I can move on. Like, I need Conor to be the one to just be like, I almost feel like it needs to be like a personal call from Conor to Chandler to be like, hey man, it's just not going to happen. And I actually think that's what's going on.
I legitimately think that's what's happening. That right now he's like, I'm going to hold out as long as possible. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what fights I'm offered until Conor calls me. And as much as Conor's turned into a D-bag over the years, I actually think that he would call him personally and say, dude, it's just not happening. You might want to move on with your life. And at that point, if Michael Chandler doesn't, then he is one stubborn SOB.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because I think I saw it was Dustin Poirier. I want to say it was an interview with Helwani where he said that I think you make like 10 times what you normally make when you fight Conor McGregor. Like, it is a noticeable difference. It's worth the juice is worth the squeeze. It's just a matter of there going to be any fruit left on that tree. I don't know where we're at with Conor. It's because it feels like I know we've had in our private chats and just talking amongst us as a show. We're like, why would I think this guy's going to fight? Every time that we think he's going to fight, he never fights.
I don't call it red panty night for nothing. If we do, and when we see John Jones fight Stipe, I don't give Stipe much of a chance at all. You gonna fight me?
Nah, I don't think so. That's another thing. It's like it's so hard to go with Stipe because everybody's like, oh, you're counting Stipe out. It's like, first of all, just like, when the hell was the last time Stipe fought?
As soon as you said that, I was thinking the same thing. It's been 2 or 3 years.
When's the last? Yeah, he beat Daniel Cormier. That okay. So he lost to Francis Ngannou.
Retired for 4 years on his own.
So his last fight was March of 2021. All right, so we're already past 3 years. 3 years for a guy.
Though, how many times has John fought since then? It's the same thing. And that's honestly why my interest level is not where it should be. Is it the best heavyweight of all time versus the best fighter of all time? Sure. But they don't fight anymore. You know what I mean? It's like when you bring a couple of guys out of the retirement home to go at it again in the parking lot. I'll watch it, but I'm not as excited as I should be.
It's interesting too, because we're in such a time now with UFC fans. Like, I feel like the guy when I'm on social media, I feel like the guy telling kids to get off my lawn, because I just feel like I'm watching like 9 accounts of like that are run very clearly by like 14-year-olds who think that, Ilia Topuria is the GOAT and Sean O'Malley's the GOAT. And I'm like, did you guys even watch Stipe fight? Like, I don't even know if they have. So I don't even know if it has that, like, the reason that fight means something to me as a guy who's watched this sport for a very long time. Like, wow, that like the guy, the best to ever do it versus the heavyweight GOAT are going to get in an octagon. You don't get many of those in the UFC of that historic significance, but I don't know how much juice it has. Like, Stipe's never been the biggest draw in the world. And yeah, that's pretty crazy to say, hey, John Jones has fought more recently than you, and he doesn't fight more recently than anybody.
Don't ding dong ditch this guy. If a kid ding dong ditches you, do you go tell his parents? I bet you do, don't you? What's the matter with you?
It must be done. They must be taught lessons.
Are you serious?
I will say,
dude? Come on,
dude. I will tell you I'll tell you something that really annoys me in this neighborhood. That I have a bunch of these punk kids riding around on golf carts. It's like, you're not
listen
old
to
enough
this
to drive.
guy.
You're not old.
Listen to
drive.
this guy. Your neighborhood
Ridiculous.
is nice. You've got a pool in your backyard, and people are riding around in golf carts. Whatever you say next is not that big of a deal. How old are these kids that we're talking about? 4-year-olds?
Not old enough. Not enough to be operating a battery vehicle.
Brendan Tobin be fun at a party. Hey, your guy Tyreek Hill got paid. You gonna fight me if I say y'all still have no chance of even winning the division?
No, that's ridiculous. You don't even believe that. But are you salty that he finished 3 spots?
I think you guys are going to score a lot of points. I'll give you that credit. You will score a lot of points.
They will score a lot of points. Are you salty that he finished 3 spots ahead of Mahomes in the top 100?
Yeah.
Number 1 overall.
I mean, how could I not be? I mean, of course. But the Dolphins paid everybody this offseason. The Cowboys paid nobody this offseason. At least their front office believes in them. Right? In Dallas, it's like, what are they doing? 1 hour in the book. Let's talk some boxing on the other side. It's Tapped Out on the BetQL network.